Hello, and welcome to this lecture on library services and library resources. My name's Julia, and I'm one of the subject librarians here. In this lecture, we'll look at an introduction to the library services that are available to you. We'll look at how you can search some of the library services in order to find relevant information. We'll have a look at some of the key specialist resources that are available to you that will support your studies. And we'll have a look at how you can evaluate the material that you are retrieving from the resources to make sure that they are of academic quality and that they are answering your information needs. Finally, we'll have a look at how you can reference the work that you found in your assignments using the APA referencing system. So firstly, let me welcome you to the library. The library is here to support you to become independent learners and to be successful throughout your time at the university. The library online is your first port of call. This is the place to start. Here you will find access to the specialist resources, to resources to help you develop your academic skills, and to access the 24/7 online support that is available. The online library is the place to go to discover the best resources to support your learning and to access the tools and support that you need to develop your academic skills. The online library gives you access to the resources for your course that you can access online. This could be books, journal articles, market research reports, films, or other resources. You'll also have access to your reading lists online. For each of the modules you are studying, there will be an online reading list. These are created by your lecturers to help guide you with your reading. You can find these on Library Online as well as on your Blackboard module sites. The Skills Centre is here to help you to develop the confidence and skills that you need for academic success. From planning and structuring your assignments, to developing effective reading strategies, or to learning a new digital skill. The Skills Centre is here to support you. You can attend online sessions, use our online study guide, or book virtual one-to-one support sessions. You can start your journey by taking the Essential Skills for Academic Success online course and come up with your own personalised skills development plan. We have 24/7 specialist library help. So whatever your commitments, the library is here for you 24/7. You can use library chat to get support whenever it's convenient for you. We can help you to find, understand and reference resources for your assignments. You can find library chat on all of the library web pages, and there is also a frequently asked questions section which you could check out. To find this, you can go to the Library Online website, and the address is given here for you: library.shu.ac.uk. If you want to visit the libraries, the collegiate campus will probably be the library that you want to go to, as this is where a lot of your printed resources will be. Currently, we're open 24/7. However, this might be subject to change in accordance with government guidelines as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So currently the library is open 24/7 and we're taking measures to ensure that you can work in a safe environment. Measures include reducing or limiting the number of people in the building to ensure social distancing can be maintained. We have clear guidance on how you can use the learning spaces, and we're providing cleansing wipes and sanitizers. Please note that if you want to come in and use the study spaces in the buildings, you will need to book in advance using the MyPC booking system. Currently, if you want to borrow any of the printed resources, you'll need to use the Click and Collect service. You can request the books online and you'll receive an email notification when the item is available for you to collect. And you can return any items at any time. All books will be quarantined for up to 72 hours upon their return. If you want to come into the building, as I say, you do need to book in advance using the MyPC booking system. In the libraries, you'll find a range of different study spaces. We have spaces with PCs, Macs, and we've also got desk space with power if you want to bring in your own mobile device. You can take a break in any of the library cafes, which serve hot and cold drinks, snacks and sandwiches. Hallam Help is also available in the libraries. If you have any queries or questions about anything relating to the library or student support, you can contact Hallam Help. You will be able to book a time to visit Hallam Help online, or you can find the answers to frequently asked questions or contact Hallam Help via the online chat, email, or by telephoning. You can also follow us on social media. This would be a good idea as social media is one of the ways that we can contact you if the library has to make any changes to the services as a result of government guidelines. So do make the most of your library by visiting library online, using the 24/7 support and accessing the buildings safely. Now I'd like to turn our attention to actually searching for information, how you can find the resources that you need to support your studies, and how you can use those library services or resources. Here we have a visual representation of the research cycle that you will go through every time you are looking for information to support your studies. You start at the top and work your way clockwise around the cycle. So you start by identifying what information you actually need. You might have an assignment brief or an essay title. From this information, you need to pick out exactly what it is you are being asked to research. What are the key concepts or the key terms that you want to search for? Once you've decided on your key terms or key concepts, you then need to decide where you are going to search. What resources are you going to look at? This could be something like Google or Library Online, or one of the specialist library search engines that we have available to you. You'll then do the search using the key terms or search. You will then do your search using the key terms or phrases that you decided at the start. And you will evaluate the resources that you're finding. It's at this stage that you might decide to go back. Once you find some results, you might discover alternative keywords that you want to search on. Or it might be that you've used the wrong search engine. You might want to try a different search engine to find relevant information. You might do this 2 or 3 times until you find the resources that you actually want to use. You'll then use the resources in your assignment, making sure that you reference them correctly according to the APA referencing system. And we'll talk more about the APA referencing system later on in the lecture. So you might be tempted to start by looking on something like Google or one of the other search engines. You will probably find information on Google that will be relevant to your assignments. However, there are 2 things that you need to consider when using something like Google. Firstly, think about the academic integrity of the materials that you are finding. Are they of academic quality? A lot of the information available on Google or other search engines will be unregulated. Secondly, the material that you are finding on Google will only be a fraction of the information that's available to you. A lot of the academic information will be hidden behind paywalls or password protected. It's these resources that the library can help you to access. I'd like you to take just a couple of minutes to consider what you would call these foodstuffs. Think about all the different terms that might be used if you were doing some research on this. So there are lots of ways of describing that one foodstuff, ranging from bread and bun, roll, baguette, loaf, etc. This is just an example of how you need to identify not only the key terms that are in your assignment brief, but also any alternative terms that might describe the same subject. Let's take a look at this hypothetical assignment brief. To critically analyse the ethical tensions and dilemmas raised in undertaking the best interest assessor role in the context of human rights and adult safeguarding, where appropriate, drawing on relevant research practice. Out of this assignment brief, we need to identify and pick out the key concepts or key terms that we would want to search on. So the main key concepts or terms would be ethical, the best interest assessor, because that's the role that we're looking at, in the context of human rights and adult safeguarding. So these are the key terms or the key concepts that we want to find out about. When we're making our search strategy, we want to think about the alternative terms that could also be used. So, for example, ethical, you could use ethic, principled, just, moral, etc. Human rights could be something like basic rights or civil liberties, civil rights or constitutional rights. Other ways of describing adults could be elderly, aged, old age, young adult, or a particular age range, 25 to 40, for example. Safeguarding could also be protection, preservation, or defence. Note that I've used a few advanced search techniques here. So, for example, with the term ethic, I've put in a star. The star is the truncation or stemming symbol. It will take the word back to its root and find all possible endings for that word. So ethic with the star will find ethic, ethics, ethical, ethically, etc. And it will broaden your search and provide you with more results. I've used speech marks around best interest and human rights. Speech marks will glue the terms together and force the search engine to look for the phrase. So again, it's going to focus the search, make it more suitable for your information needs. If you want to combine any of the terms to look for the alternative words, you can use the term or. So ethical, or principled, or just, or moral would find articles with all of the alternative terms. Think about this when you are doing your searches. Just a little bit more about how you can combine keywords. You can use and to narrow a search to find articles where both terms appear. So, for example, adult and safeguarding. Both of the terms need to appear in the article. Or will broaden your search to find alternative keywords. Human rights or civil rights, for example. And not would exclude any unwanted key terms. This short video will look in more detail about using or, and not. But I'll let you discover that in your own time. So moving on, let's think about your reading lists online. Each of your modules will have a reading list online. These are created by the academics or module leads and are their recommended readings brought together in one handy place. They will include links wherever possible to the online version of the recommended reading so that you will be able to access the material regardless of whether or not you're on campus. Reading lists are a really good way of getting started when you are new to a subject, as they are items, readings that your academics are recommending to you. So they are a good starting place. However, at your stage of studies, you will also want to be doing some self-discovery reading. This is where you are finding out information that supports your arguments on your own. This wider reading will enhance your knowledge, and you can use the Library Gateway and specialist databases to find this additional reading. Done well, this self-discovery, this finding resources that will support the arguments you're making, will contribute to a higher mark in your assignment, because it's demonstrating that you are reading around your subject and that you are understanding what you're reading and you're able to communicate that reading across to your audience. And that's what we're aiming to do in this course. So where do you start? The first place you can start is Library Gateway or Library Online. Here we have the Library Gateway, and this is where we can do our searching. So I'm going to look for best interest and safeguarding. And I've used the speech marks around best interest to search for the phrase. I've used and to combine my terms, and I've used the star symbol after safeguard to look for all possible endings. So now I'm going to click on to search. This is searched on Library Gateway, on Library Online, all the materials that we have available for the keywords that I've entered. And you can see I've got over 30,000 results. The key thing with Library Online is to refine your results. So if I scroll down slightly, I've got various options that I can use to refine the materials. So here on my left-hand side, I've got my options to filter. And if I come down, my first option is under publication date. And here I can change the date. And I would normally recommend that you're looking for material within the last 5 to 10 years so that it's up to date. So I'm going to look for 2015 to 2021, and I can click on Refine. And you can see straight away that my results have gone down from 33,000 to 8,000. But that's still too many for me to look through. So I can come down again, if I scroll on the right hand side, and then come down on the left to content type. So it might be that I just want to have books. So I can click onto books. And if I want to make sure that they are available online, again, on the left-hand side, I've got the option for online. I've now got 4 results, all of which are available online. And here we've got something, the legal aspects of mental capacity. So if I click onto the title, it will take me through to the full record. And if I want to actually open up the electronic book, I can click onto the link where it's got full text availability. I can click onto the link. It may ask me to log in, so it's just my normal username and password, and then to click onto the login option. And here we've got the options to read online. Oh, here, read online. I would recommend that you read online rather than download the book. It's just as easy just to read online. In the same way, if I was interested in articles rather than books, I could choose my option to go to articles under content type. Here I have my list of articles, and I can select the article that's of interest to me. So we'll have a look at this article here, 9 Use of Deprivation of Liberty Safeguards. If I click onto the title that I'm interested in, again, where it's got Find Online Full Text Availability, I can click onto the link, and this has taken me through to the actual article. So you can see that searching on Library Online for books and journals is fairly straightforward. So now I'd like you to pause the video and have a go yourself at finding a book or journal article that you're interested in or that's relevant to your assignment, and try opening up that online resource, and then come back to the video. Another resource that we have available for you is the option to browse through relevant journals. This is called the browsing function. Once you've done a search within Library Online, at the top you have the option to browse the e-journals. This will open up the browsing function. So here we have browsing. Up at the top left, it tells me that I'm in the browsing library. This library is an index to all of the online journals that the university subscribes to. So you can either use the subject areas to browse, or you can find a journal by title or subject. So I'm going to look for mental health. And these are the journals on the right hand side here that deal with mental health. So I can select a particular area, so it might be mental health practice. I click onto that. Here we have that journal of mental health practice. We can see the articles that are available in the current issue of that journal on the right hand side here. Or we could browse through the previous volumes and the previous issues of the journal to see if anything's been written on our subject. The other thing that you can do with browsing, if you want to, is you can download the browsing app to your mobile device just by searching for browsing in your app store, and then selecting Sheffield Hallam as your institution. Once you've downloaded the browsing app, you can add your favourite journals to your bookshelf, and then each time a new issue of that journal is published, you'll receive a notification and links to the articles in that current issue of the journal. So it's a good way of keeping up to date with your subject area. If you have a favourite journal that you find yourself going back to all the time, having it on your mobile device can be a quick and easy way of keeping up to date. So far, we've looked at Library Online to find the books and journal articles that you can access. You might want to go further and look at some of the specialist databases that we have available through Library Online. And we can do that by using the subject guides that you'll find on Library Online. So from the home page of Library Online, on the right hand side, we've got the option to go to the subject guides. Here we've got an index to all of the subject guides that are available. And the one that we're interested in is the social work and social care guide, though you might want to have a look at the health and the nursing guides as well. So I'm going to go to the social work and social care guide. From here, we've got this introductory homepage to the guide, which is well worth having a look at. On the left-hand side here, we've got something called Search Start. This is an online package which will take you through all of the steps on how to do a search that we've looked at. So it's a good reminder for you. But if I come down on the left-hand side to the option that says journals, this is where I can find these specialist databases that cover your subject areas. And there are a number of different resources that you might want to use. Things like PsycInfo and the Applied Social Sciences Index and Abstracts, ProQuest Social Science. These databases are excellent indexes to journal articles, and they will cover the academic literature that's been produced in your areas. Coming further down, the Community Care Inform and the Research in Practice databases are more practical resources. They are practice-related information written by and aimed at those people in practice, the practitioners. So these are really excellent resources for when you go out into placement or work practice. These are the resources that are aimed at practitioners. So I'm going to start with demonstrating the Community Care Inform option. We have two, one for adults and one for children, depending on which demographic you're researching. So I'm going to go to the Community Care Inform for adults. The first thing I need to do is to log in. And I log in on the right-hand side. And I need to actually search under the institution login for the university. So search for Sheffield Hallam. And it's the first option, Sheffield Hallam University, that I want. And then if I come down slightly, the login is at the bottom, the Sheffield Hallam University. So when accessing Community Care Inform off campus, you do need to log in that way. But here I've got my options at the top. Community care is very helpful. It's got certain subject areas that you might be interested in, such as mental capacity or mental health. Or you can do your keyword searching as we did on Library Online. I'm going to go to the mental capacity section and just browse through mental capacity, deprivation of liberty, and best interest. It tells me the sorts of things that this is going to look at. So the steps I need to follow in assessing capacity and making best interest decisions, using the test about deprivation of liberty. It also covers things like case law and knowledge on mental capacity. So if I come down again, here we've got things like at a glance, assessing mental capacity, deprivation of liberty. This resource is really excellent for practitioners. It has the guidance, it has the practice notes, but it also has the case law. So if you need to be referring back to legislation, it's a very quick way of finding that relevant legislation that you need. So here we've got things like quick guides to deprivation of liberty, scenarios, something there about COVID-19. We've got quizzes there if you want to take those, etc. If I scroll down here, we've got the law and what you need to know about legislation. So I really think that this is an excellent resource for you to be using. I could also do a keyword search for my best interest assessor. And here we have the results. We've got 337 in total, but we've got the practice hub, we've got your practice guidance, we've got case law, we've got legislation, we've got research. So there is a lot of material here. So for example, report writing for best interest assessors. If I go to read more, it takes me through to the full article. Again, it gives you the learning points, what you're going to find out about, contents, keywords. We mentioned keywords at the very beginning. These can be really useful for finding alternative terms that you might not have thought about. And then you've got your full text. So a really excellent resource, which I would highly recommend that you have a look at. Your research and practice is a similar practice-based resource. So I won't actually demonstrate that one, but you might want to have a look at it in your own time. The other resource that I'm going to have a quick look at, just to demonstrate, is the Applied Social Sciences Index and Abstract. This is an index of the academic literature, the articles and papers that have been written in the academic journals. And it covers things like health and social services, psychology, sociology, etc. So I'm going to go into the database. And here we have the Applied Social Sciences Index and Abstracts. This is the home page of the database. If you see at the top, it says it's a ProQuest resource. And this is really helpful because a number of the different databases, such as PsycInfo, such as ProQuest Central, they all use the same interface. So if you can search on this database, you can search on any that's got the ProQuest interface on. I'm going to go to the advanced search because this gives me the options to use those and, or, and not terms. And I'm going to search for my best interest assessor. And we'll try ethics with the star. And we'll add a row and we'll put in adult again with the star. And I'm searching anywhere in the article. So I could, if I wanted to, change that option if I wanted to search for an author or within document title, whatever. I'm going to stick with anywhere. I'm going to limit my searching to the peer-reviewed articles. These are the articles that have been assessed by an independent person or possibly a body of people, such as a body of editors. Same academic background as the author, same experiences, same knowledge, who assess the article to decide whether or not it's of academic quality. So I know I'm going to get the academic literature if I use the peer-reviewed option. And I'm going to limit my dates to the last 3 years. And then I'm going to search. So that search didn't actually find any results. So what I can do, so if I come down, I can modify my search, and I'm going to take out the term assessor and just search for best interest, leave everything else the same. So search again. Oh. And here I've got best interest and ethic and adult, and this time I've got 70 results. And if I come down, I can see the articles. It highlights the terms in the article. On the left-hand side, I've also got options to filter, as I did with Library Online. So if I wanted, for example, to change the publication date, I could update that if I wanted to. But since I've only got 70 articles, I think I'll stick with what I've got. So I can have a look at the articles. So let's say I'm interested in this one, involved inputting or informing shared decision making. And it tells me here at the bottom that I've got the abstract details, I've got the full text or the PDF. It's been cited by 3 other people and it's got 43 references. I'll come back to this in just a second. If I want to find the full article, I just need to click onto the title. And here we've got an abstract, so the summary of the article. And then if I click onto full text PDF, it takes me into the PDF version, which I could then print out if I wanted to. I've also got on the right hand side some related documents. So these could be on a similar topic, so they might also be of interest to me. I'll just go back a step. And again, just go back to these cited by and references. These are really useful for finding more information from the article that you've already located. The references are the references that the authors have used in this article, and there are 43 of them. So they may be on a similar subject, and you might want to look at those as well. The cited by articles here are of more interest. These are newer articles than this original one, and they have used this research in their research. So if I go to these cited by, these 3 articles are going to be on a similar topic as my original article, but they're going to be newer than my original article. And again, they may be something that you would want to follow up and have a look at. This searching using the references and the cited by is called incremental searching, or possibly snowballing, and it's taking an original article and going further and finding more information from that one article. It's a quick and easy way of doing wider reading. So those are the 2 databases that I wanted to demonstrate. There are others, so I do recommend that you have a look at these other databases as well and do your searches on them. So this is just a little bit more about that incremental searching. When you find a key article that's of interest, have a look at the list of references because they may well be of interest to you. You can also have a look at who has cited your paper. These will be newer, but again might well be relevant to you. And the third thing that you can do is look to see who the authors are and have they written anything else that might be useful. Like I say, this incremental searching is a really effective way of finding more information. Okay, so let's move on and think about how you can evaluate the material that you're finding. Is the information actually good enough? As you're looking through the information, you can ask yourself a number of questions. Who's actually written it? Who is the author or the authors? Or it might be an organisation. Are they well known to you? Are they experts in the subject area or in the field that they're writing about? You can often tell from a journal article who the author works for, what institution they are associated with, which can give you a clue as to who they are. Similarly, if it's a book or a chapter in a book, quite often the blurb on the back of the book will tell you who the author is, and you'll know whether or not they are experienced in the subject area. Think about your date. When was the item produced, and is it still going to be relevant? Particularly important when you are looking at legislation and legal issues. You need to make sure that you've got the most up-to-date legal material, that it's not being repealed or replaced by something else. Look to see if the content is fair and unbiased. If there is any bias in the content, you need to acknowledge that and possibly try and verify the results from another source to make sure that they are fair. And finally, look at the content and the level. Are they actually appropriate? If you are looking at how best interest assessors work and operate in the UK, it might not be relevant to be looking at something that was produced in America, for example, because it might not be the same system. And look at the level that it's aimed at. Is it aimed at practitioners, or is it perhaps aimed at the patient or the user of the service? And is it still appropriate? So you can ask yourself this as you're looking through the documents. So finally, the last stage is actually using the information that you found and referencing it correctly. And there are a number of reasons why we reference. We reference because it is a good academic standard. It's a good academic thing to do, to give attribution for other people's work, to acknowledge the work that other people have done. It also gives you that backup information, that support for the ideas or the arguments that you are putting across in your assignments. You need to have evidence for the arguments that you are making. Good academic references also demonstrate that you are familiar with the literature, that you are doing this wider reading and understanding the material that you are using. Good academic references will also mean that you are acknowledging other people's work, and you won't be laying yourself open to the possibility of plagiarism, which is passing somebody else's work off as your own. And ultimately, if you can give good academic references, you'll get better marks. So referencing shows that you can do the academic research and that you know your subject well and you understand the resources. It gives you evidence for that arguments that you are making. It shows that you didn't make something up and that you're not plagiarizing somebody else's work. And it's acknowledging other people's hard work. So how do we reference? At the university, we've adopted the APA, the American Psychological Association referencing system, and we're currently using the 6th edition of APA. There is lots of online support on how to do APA referencing. You can find this online support under the option for Develop Your Skills on the Library Online web pages. If you go to the referencing guide, here you've got the online support for referencing. If you're new to referencing and you've never done it before, you might want to use this section, I'm new to referencing. There are a number of, there's a short video here about why we reference, and then there's a very good online tutorial which will give you an introduction to referencing. We've also got a list of terminology that we use, such as cite, citing or citation, reference, reference list and bibliography, which will describe what we mean by the terms. We've got a quick guide here, which you could print out, and we've got the general principles of referencing, the who, when, what and where, which are the general key elements of a good academic reference. The section that you may be interested in most, though, is I need to reference something in APA. This section goes through the main types, the main formats of information that you may come across, such as an Act of Parliament, a company report, chapter from a book, a journal article, etc. If you click on the item type, it will give you an example of how you will cite that reference in the body of your work. So whenever you refer to something in the body of your assignment, whether it's a direct quote or if you've put something into your own words, you need to acknowledge that in the body of your text by putting the authors and the date, and it gives you an example of how you would do that here. That citation that appears in the body of your text directs the reader to your reference list, which will appear at the end of your assignment and is one alphabetical list. This gives the full details, so the author, the year, the title of the article, the title of the journal or magazine, volume, issue number if there is one, page number, the DOI, which is the digital online identifier, or the web address. And it then gives you an example of how you would lay that out in your reference list. So that's referencing. I don't expect you to remember how you would reference every different type of material that you use, as long as you can remember where to find the information, the support, and that is on Library Online under Develop Your Skills, the referencing guide. As long as you can remember that, you can find the information you need in order to be able to reference your article. So under the Develop Your Skills referencing guide, we also have an online tool which will help you to manage your references, which is called RefWorks, and you can find information about that on the green tab. RefWorks is an online referencing management tool which allows you to save your references and also to automatically produce a reference list in the APA style. So there's lots of information about RefWorks if you want to use it, and that's on this page here. We also run workshops, virtual drop-in workshops on both APA referencing and RefWorks, and you can find information about that on the orange tab, I would like to book onto a workshop. So that tells you we've got workshops for both the APA referencing and for RefWorks. And if I come down further, you've got your dates here of when we're actually running the sessions. And we run these sessions throughout the academic year. So when you need to, you can book yourself on and come along to one of those sessions at any time. So in this lecture, we've looked at the library services. We've looked at the theory of creating an effective library information search using the research cycle. We've looked at some key information sources such as Library Online for the online books and journal articles. And we've also looked at some key information sources such as the Community Care Inform and the ASIA database. We've also looked at how you can evaluate the work and how you can use the information referencing them in the APA style. So hopefully this lecture will have given you a start on how you can use the library services and the library resources to find relevant information. Please remember that you can get more help at any time. The Hallam Help desks are available in the libraries 9 till 5 Monday to Friday. So please do book if you want to come in and use the Hallam Help desks. You can contact us on hallamhelp@shu.ac.uk. You can use the chat, the online chat from any of the library web pages, or you can call us on the 24/7 telephone support line. So I hope this lecture has been useful to you. Please do get in touch if you need any more support through the Hallam Help, and good luck with your studies. Thank you very much.